We are live. Well, I'm saying we, I mean me talking to my laptop again. But this is what it's all about, me sharing information with you guys. So with that being said, we have got half an hour together. And this week I'm going to talk about employer branding. And I'm going to talk about how to set this up for businesses that might feel a little bit of a disconnect with employer branding, don't really know what it is. This is also suitable for businesses that have any plans for recruitment in 2025. If you have kind of roles to fill mid 2025, roles to fill now, regardless of the time period, these are the things that you need to start having a look at. And this isn't me dictating, this is me giving you advice that's going to set you up for success, that will fill the roles that you have. So I'm just going to pull up my notes. If you have any questions, oh my gosh, last week I was trying to answer questions whilst I was talking and it didn't bode well for me. I can't multitask. But if you have questions, put them in the chat. I will answer them as we're going through this. So I want to kind of set the tone in terms of branding and some bad examples and also some good examples of what branding is. Because what we want to do is be able to connect the dots so that this doesn't seem something totally unrealistic and you can see how it starts to integrate into your business. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of bad branding. This might have been like 4 years ago, something like that. I put some posts onto LinkedIn and it was a couple of posts about a candidate being really aggressive and me showing like the other side of what can happen in recruitment, like kind of when recruitment goes wrong, right? So a journalist calls me up over the phone, asked me a few questions. I didn't know that he was going to print anything that I was talking about. And someone contacted me and said that my information was all over the Daily Mail. This journalist had got my information, pulled pictures from my personal Facebook page of when I was on holiday. So I matched scantily clad photos with some information that I told him, plus my post on LinkedIn. That shit blew up and it blew up in my face. And it was something that I had to talk through with clients. I had to do damage control around that. And it tainted my brand. Now, I'm quite fortunate that I have posted that much content since then, that if you Google my name, that doesn't come up, just if you specifically look for it. And the comments on it were just awful. But because he'd pulled pictures that it just made me look desperate. It made me look like I was asking for attention. And the fact behind it is that I had a brief conversation with someone from a newspaper. Nothing was on record, but they printed a story for publicity. And that blew up in my face. Bad branding. I'm going to relate this to a company now. So the last company that employed me before I set up my own business was a legal firm. Now, I was just in the process of being made redundant anyway, so I needed a role. Would I have gone to this company knowing what I know or knowing the situation? Maybe, I don't know. I found it a challenge and I found it something that I really wanted to work with. Like, I liked the brand. They were a very down-to-earth organization, but what they had done is they'd brought a few people on that were referrals, friends of a friend, not put them through any recruitment process, not put them through any interview process, not really done the due diligence in terms of who these people were. And they traumatized some of the people that were in the organization. So I think they brought on like 3 or 4 managers that had never been managers before, that these people, friends, were like, oh yeah, it's fine, they can do the job. And they couldn't. And they were managing teams of quite young people. They weren't managing the conversations. They weren't taking into consideration the feelings of the people within the team. And a lot of people left. A lot of people wrote some bad stuff on Glassdoor. I think when I started with that company, their rating on Glassdoor was like 2.5. And every rating was like 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. And they came to me and they were like, look, we really need to hire all of these people, but we really need to change the company culture. We need to do damage control and we need someone in here that's going to be able to change how recruitment actually works, put some processes in place, strategies in place, and to really build a positive environment within the organization. So we did that. Well, when I first started in the business, I made sure that I introduced myself to the whole organization. I built strong relationships with hiring managers. I got to know people within the teams just to find out the different personalities and to create a connection between myself and the business. Recruitment sometimes can be very disconnected, and I made sure that everyone knew who I was. Everyone knew that I wasn't here to fire anyone or replace anyone. I was here to build a better culture. And that was through communication. That was through repetition. That was through making sure that the people that we were bringing into the business gave us a really good testimonial, because we were doing a good service. And we made sure that the people that were in the business that we'd done damage control with then created further testimonials just to build that glass door reputation back up again. And that wasn't a quick fix. That probably took around 6 to 8 months. Now, if you go back, you can still see those really damaging testimonials, but then you can see the pivot and the change in terms of when that business started to invest into stronger processes and creating a more positive work environment. So those are two, one bad example for me personally, and then one of a transitional branding experience. And then how I want you to look at this is, everyone that's listening to this right now, you have a brand anyway. Your business has a brand. It has a website. What company doesn't have a website anymore? And when we have a website, we have search engine optimization into the back of that. If you don't know what it is, speak to your IT department, have a conversation with them, go for a coffee, learn how search engine optimization actually works. I'm limited in the time that I've got with you, but SEO is a huge thing that if you don't understand it, I encourage you to start doing some research about it. YouTube's great for it. I train on search engine optimization, but if you have an IT department that has created your website, then I would strongly encourage you to have a conversation with them about how it works and how to understand it. I'll give you an example. So I've just been working with an education academy. I broke down SEO in a way that made complete sense to him, and he was investing thousands of pounds into an organization that weren't really providing any results, and I really demystified how SEO actually works. But in terms of your brand as a business, you will have all the functionalities so that that website is easily found by your clients. It will have certain things in there that are mandatory for that website to become, I don't know, maybe you've got services on there, maybe people can buy products on there. You put in all this effort into your website, whereas this is kind of what I coach businesses on, is to put this effort, the same amount of effort, into your careers page. So I'm going to give you an example. Look at Coca-Cola. Look at Nike. Look at the pivot that Marks and Spencer's had. So Coca-Cola is this huge brand, but they are very consistent in the message that they provide to the world. We all know the red can of Coca-Cola, and Christmas is coming up too, right? The Coca-Cola train, because it's repetition. They're constantly posting about who they are as a brand. Nike is exactly the same. We all know who Nike and Coca-Cola are. And I'm not saying we're going to get to this point where the whole world knows who your company careers page is, but that's the power of branding. And the reason why I'm going into this is, when you create your careers page and set it up for success, this eliminates having to have similar conversations with candidates that come through your process. When you get a candidate to an interview point, they should know who your business is. They should have a good understanding that that company culture is a company culture that really aligns with where they want to work. They should have seen testimonials from people that work in your business. They should have a really good idea in terms of the vision for your organization and where your business is going. Now, if this all seems a little bit too much for you to kind of take in, and this is the first video that you're coming across, I encourage you to go back onto my profile, go into the event section. I've layered this up over the last few weeks intentionally. So when you go through the different videos that I've created, right at the beginning, we create a foundation of company culture, core values, and a vision for your business. Because when we create that, then we can start to take bits of information from all of the different statements that you've created, then have it on your careers page, then have it on your job descriptions, then you're able to post it out on social media, because the message is congruent. And I feel like what a lot of people do with employer branding, social media, is that they think that I have to reinvent the wheel. It's not. It's about refining the information that you've got and posting this out on a consistent basis. Like if you post one post out onto LinkedIn and it doesn't do very well, I can imagine that can be quite disheartening for people. That's just the start of your journey. That's just one post, whereas we need to build this momentum in terms of a message and a message of clarity in terms of who your business is. So when it comes to you building a strong presence on your careers page, this is part of employer branding. So how I would set a careers page up, and we don't have to really overcomplicate this, is you would have information about who works in your business. You might have some pictures of the CEOs, the directors, give people a snapshot, make it look real. You know, I want to see the whites of people's eyes. I want to see the people that I'm going to be working with, regardless of whether it's hybrid or remote working. I want to be able to have an interactive experience with your company website. Now, I've been on websites before, the reams of information from neurodiverse perspective. I don't want to be reading lots of information. I want to see stuff. And I feel like there's a lot of impact to be made when it comes to videos. You don't need to spend any money on a videographer, if that's how you say it. You can use an iPhone. You can use any phone to take pictures of your company culture. You could be taking, like, for example, if you've got a work event, like team building event, you've gone out for some food, it's easy to take 10-second videos where you can put all those videos together and create like a 1 to 3 minute video that really showcases your company culture, the team environment, who are the people within each team. You know, so start having to think about what you can capture that really creates that bridge in terms of people being able to see who you are as a business. Now, let's go back to the structure of a company careers page. I just want to go back to something, actually. So I spoke to a company last week and they were like, oh, we've got a couple of sales roles. I couldn't find the sales roles on their website. Now, they were on there, but I had to go a couple of pages deep. If I was a candidate and I came across their website, I want to be able to see apply here, jobs here, careers here. If you're a job seeker, you are frantically clicking left, right, and center to be able to find jobs that you can apply for, because if you're not working, you need money. You know, if you need money, you need a job. So there's a lot of reactivity when you're a job seeker, and we're constantly clicking on all these different websites. So if I can't find your job section, that's a big red flag for me. When I could find the job section, all I could see were 4 links that one said office manager, one said sales role. There were another couple of roles there as well. There wasn't anything else on this page that told me who this company were. So out of interest, I just clicked on one of the jobs and it didn't even tell me what the job was. It was just a series of questions and I got bored after 3 clicks. Now, I want to be able to know that this next move that I'm going to make is an employer that I feel comfortable with, that I can see are growing, that I can see I'm going to fit into that company culture. So with your careers page, what you want on here is a snapshot into your company culture. That could be a paragraph and it could be a video. Information on your core values and how that ties into your business and why that's important to you. And I want to be able to know where that company's going. So a vision for your organization, and whether that's a video from the director, whether that's a paragraph that you've created from one of the training videos that I've done. I think it's training video number 2. I also want to be able to see testimonials. I want to be able to see some of the faces that I'm going to be working in the business. So these are things that don't cost you any money to set up. These are things that cost you time and effort. And once you have these set up, then what will happen is if you are advertising for a role, someone sees a position on Indeed, CV Library, whatever, they come across to your website, now they can make a decision. I don't really care what this role is. I can kind of see from the skills and experience that I'm suitable for it. But I want to know if your business is right for me. This is where we have to start thinking differently. It's not about you advertising a job and kind of seeing who applies. It's about you creating an attraction magnet for candidates that are aligned to your business, because someone might read that job description, go into your company website, they might not like who you are, and that's okay. But I'd rather know here than going through the whole process and wasting everybody's time. So I'm going to just touch very quickly on SEO because time is slipping. So search engine optimization is having certain keywords into the back of your website. So for example, I've pivoted from being a transactional recruiter and now I train SMEs on how to attract, hire and retain talent. We've had to create a ton of SEO to start building the right attraction to my website. So I've had a couple of inquiries already, which is brilliant, but we created this 5 months ago. So it's about thinking, the next 8 weeks now are a great time for you to start thinking about search engine optimization and what keywords you could start putting into the back of your company careers page. And give you a quick example. So if you are spending money every month on job platforms, I'm going to encourage, and you're not getting the results that you're looking for, I'm going to encourage you to start putting that spend into SEO. So for example, the business that I kind of gave you an example of with the careers page, they were looking for an office manager and they were looking for salespeople within Leeds. What I would start to look at is all of the different variations of what an office manager could be called. And then I'd stick those into the back of my company careers page, search engine optimization, because we're searching in an engine and it's optimizing the results. And then what I would look at is all the different variations of what a sales role could be. So you could be putting in sales advisor, sales executive, new business sales executive, putting those into the back of my careers page. Then I would have a look at geographical locations. So for example, if you're in Leeds and someone might want to travel 10 miles into your office, you could have a look at all of the different towns and villages and cities that are in a 10-mile radius of Leeds, put those into the back of your careers page. And then what we're going to do is create Boolean strings. So you could have a look at office manager Leeds. You could have a look at administration manager and Leeds. So these are search strings that people will start to type into Google, and that will align with your website. So for example, 70% of job seekers search from Google. So if I'm looking for office manager in Leeds and you've got that search in the back of your website, your company careers page will come up. Now, it'll never come up on page 1 or 2 of Google, because Indeed and CV Library and whoever else pay, all the other job platforms pay a lot of money to have their searches on page 1 and 2. Why wouldn't they? It's creating an attraction magnet for their jobs, right? But if you have the right SEO behind your website, your website will start to come up on higher pages of Google. Also, as well, what you could have a think about is competitors in your area. Give you an example. So Deliveroo, if you type Deliveroo into a search engine, Just Eat will come straight up. Hungry House will come straight up. Uber Eats will come straight up, because they've all got their own competitive information into the back of their website as search engine optimization, so that their information is constantly coming up when someone's typing in whichever food company delivers within the local area. So start having a look at the competitors within your local area, have their information into the back of your careers page. Another little hack before I move on is maybe have a look at all the different businesses within a 10 to 15 to 20 mile radius. Start to add those into the back of your careers page so that it starts to build momentum. It's not a quick fix. It might take a little bit of time, but you are then creating an impactful attraction magnet for people searching on the World Wide Web. And have a look at this over the next kind of 6 to 12 months. You want to be able to create momentum on your website for people that could be your next hire. So for example, if you have got an office manager role and it's not coming up until March 2025, don't know why I just went 2 years back in time then. You could have that on your website as a job, but coming soon, March 2025, applications are open. We're looking to have conversations with people now. Someone might have 4 weeks notice period. Someone might be really on the fence in terms of their next role. So this is a great way of you driving traffic to your careers page. There was also something else I was going to say then as well. Actually, yes, automated templates. Make sure that you have some form of template set up on your careers page so that when someone does apply for a role, they get some form of an automation. So for me, I wouldn't be leaving anyone sat longer than 48 hours. So you could have some form of bounce back that says, thank you so much for applying. We will aim to get back to you within 48 hours or 2 business working days, just to make sure that when people are sending a CV, it's not just going into a black hole. Okay, that is careers pages. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you are picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, so I think I've gone all over the notes for careers page. Just going to go onto social media in terms of how that could potentially start to look. So LinkedIn You don't need to pay anything for LinkedIn. Like I do. I think I pay like 79 quid a month for LinkedIn, but that's because I use Sales Navigator. And before that, I think I was paying like 53 quid for Sales Navigator. Sorry, for just LinkedIn Premium, but you don't need to pay anything for LinkedIn. You can start to build a really great brand on LinkedIn for nothing. The only thing that it costs you is your time. And these are the things that I teach businesses. We don't have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on recruitment. It's a myth. Like if you want to use a recruitment agency, fine. It's going to cost you. If you want to use job platforms, you're not getting the results that you need. You're just pouring money down the drain. So let's start having a look at things that you have got more control over that aren't going to break the budget. Now, again, start having a look at these over the next couple of months. With LinkedIn, okay, first and foremost, you want to make sure that the profile is set up for optimization. So you want to make sure that you have the right keywords in there. Again, going back to SEO, having the right keywords in there so that people can find you. Have you got just a really beige platform that no one really knows what it's about, or are you kind of creating this buzz and attraction in terms of who you are, what your organization does, how you're making impacts on the industry? Are you posting out on a regular basis? Like these are the things that are going to start to build momentum, even if you don't have recruitment for another 6 months' time, because again, it's subliminal messages that we're giving people that are going to start to build your brand. And there's a great way with this in terms of building content. So you can start having a look at Canva. Canva is like $10.99 a month. But if you can import your company branding onto Canva, you can start to create really simple branding on there that, again, people associate that color branding with your organization. Again, subliminal messages. So when it comes to your optimization, making sure that you've got the right job titles on there, making sure that you have links to your careers page, making sure that you're providing information that you're going to put on your careers page onto your LinkedIn page. So again, we're posting out testimonials, we're posting about maybe company events. We're using all of the social media that we've been recording and taking pictures of and adding it onto multiple different platforms. What I don't want businesses to do is just rely on one platform, because that sometimes isn't the best port of call. What I encourage you to do is when you're creating this content, stick it out onto Facebook, stick it out onto Instagram. Twitter's a great place to be able to post content out there as well. TikTok, I have no understanding how TikTok works. Probably will never know how TikTok works. I feel like we've got too many social media platforms. But when we're posting out onto social media, you can start to see what's working, what's not, which platforms are aligned with your business. I can't tell you that because I don't know who your business is and I don't know what industry that you're in, but you'll start to create tangible information when you're posting out onto social media. So again, when we create one piece of content, we don't have to reinvent the wheel for all of these different other social media platforms. We can literally create one piece of content and add it out onto multiple different platforms to see what gets engagement, to see what people are liking. Also, as well, it can be pretty heartbreaking when people don't like your stuff. But I don't want you to post for validation and I don't want you to post for likes. I want you to post because you're building a brand. That's the message that I want you to have in the back of your mind. Because when we start posting for likes and we post for validation and a post necessarily doesn't feel well, social media is going to feel pretty shitty. And I want you to be able to disconnect from that. People sometimes aren't going to give a shit about a job description, but they're reading it. People sometimes won't give a shit about your company culture, but they'll read it. Then when you do have a job or you're talking about an event or a team building exercise that you've done, they'll start to connect the dots. So don't think that just one post is going to achieve the results that you want. When you're building a brand, this can take time, and it's also not as fruitful as when you're posting about a celebration or where you're posting something personal. Branding does take time. Also, as well, you don't need to be investing into expensive social media managers. All of this, I teach businesses how to do. It's really simple and straightforward. So when it comes to creating content on social media and about your brand, what I would strongly recommend is maybe once a month, maybe for a couple of hours, is just sit down with whoever you want to be able to create the content with. Maybe two heads are better than one. Get an Excel spreadsheet and plot out 3 times a week what you're going to post. So maybe post 1 could be about your company culture. Post 2 can be about the impact that you have on the business. Post 3 can be a celebration post. Someone might have had a promotion. Someone might have I had a win at work. Those are 3 posts that you can create. And you can also use ChatGPT for this as well. So basically what you could do with AI in this is post all of the information into ChatGPT, so your company culture, the vision for your business, some testimonials. You could also kind of add some wins into there as well. Ask it to create 12 pieces of content with a hook that you can post onto social media, onto Facebook, onto Instagram, onto LinkedIn. And then Canva, you can create a static post with your branding on there. That shouldn't take more than a couple of hours. You can schedule it all into LinkedIn. So if you create a post, if you go to click create a post, you'll see a little clock in the corner. There you can schedule your posts. Once a month, create content, schedule a post, create content, schedule posts. It doesn't cost you any money apart from $10.99 for Canva. It does cost you your time, but not masses. And again, this is a great way of building your company brand for future roles that you've got in 2025. Another great thing with LinkedIn is once you are creating posts and people are starting to comment and like, those people could potentially be your next hire. So start to have a look at who's liking your stuff. Start to have a look at who's commenting. Start building relationships with them. You know, it might be a case that you ask them, what's the situation? Are they going to be looking to move in a few months' time? Can you add them to an email list where you start to send out a newsletter? Do they know of anybody else in the industry that might be looking for a role because you've got a referral scheme? So start to think about different ways of building relationships with all of the information that you put onto social media. So let me just have a little look at this. Cool. So in terms of you creating some form of employer branding, don't think that you have to do it all at once. Maybe just set some time aside once a week to start having a think and a feel in terms of how that looks. And as well, if other people are involved in the hiring process, it's essential that you all have a part to play in this, because there are 8 billion people in the world. There are 8 billion different versions of how that world looks. So when people come together that are all involved in the hiring process, you'll be able to create this uniformed approach in terms of the messaging, how you want that to look. Everyone has their own ideas, because when you're all involved in the hiring process, you all having that common goal will make a huge difference when it comes to hiring. So next week, we are going to be talking about how to find candidates that aren't just on job platforms. I'm seeing so many businesses just lean on recruitment agencies and job platforms, and it's a bugbear. So many other different ways of being able to find candidates. And I'm going to be showing you that next week. So I think it's going to be Friday next week, not Thursday, that I'm doing the live. So it'll be scheduled on Monday. You'll be able to see when the live is. Does anyone have any questions before I wrap this up? So if you do want to take this further, there are some links on my profile on the book appointment now button. So there's a free 15-minute recruitment Kickstarter call that you can jump on. So I can really just have a look at the things that might be holding you back and give you some advice on that. There's a power hour that you can book on my profile as well. And I'm also just in the thick of finishing off my Hiring Made Easy training course. So it's finished as a full training course at the moment, but I want to be able to separate each module so it's more accessible. I know that not all businesses need the entire training program. So I'm creating 9 different courses that are really more digestible, easier to access, and they really transform your recruitment process to why didn't we do this earlier? So thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. This will be recorded and up on my profile. I'm probably going to do another 3 sessions of these. And then after that, I'll leave them up for a week and I'll be taking them all down. So again, if this is the first time you've come across my stuff, there's 3 other videos before this. I encourage you to go watch them. You know, if this conversation has sparked any interest at all, then I encourage you to watch the other videos, take notes, start to integrate it into your hiring process, because even the free stuff that I've got will be able to transform how your business does recruitment. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and I will see you next week.